Okay, so here I am again at the dump, and there is a box of records in here. Which, you know what? Looks interesting. Like a good mix of stuff this time. Okay, well, we'll take that back to the store and go through it. Okay, so I figured out a way how to not touch my face when I'm making videos, and that's to put a coffee in the hand that normally touches my face, which it could go horribly wrong because I could just, you know, forget it's there. It would make a great YouTube video though, probably, you know, some guy pouring hot coffee on his face. Anyways, so as I have, if you go back and look, if you're a follower or subscriber or whatever the kids call it of the channel, you can go back and look and see that I am lucky enough to have a town dump that has a recycling center, and part of that recycling center is a C crate that they open called the reuse bin. And basically you take whatever, well, actually the guys who work there point out stuff that they think is better than going into the landfill, which is awesome because the less that goes into the landfill, you know, everybody talks about throwing stuff away. Where is away? You know, it's basically 90% of it doesn't actually get recycled. 90% of it gets buried, burned, or, you know, even worse. I don't know what worse would be. Launched into space. Actually, that's not a bad idea. But we, these guys pick stuff out and point it out to people, basically saying like, hey, go throw that over there because somebody might want that. And the first time I discovered it a year ago was I ended up getting records. That's how I found it. I was driving by, taking stuff to the dump, and I briefly glanced and was like, that looks like a stack of records. And there were tons in there. There was like nothing crazy. Actually, there were some really good 1990s singles in there from like U2 and Queen, Bohemian Rhapsody reissue, and then lots of really interesting 60s records. You can go back and look at it. I'll maybe put a link there to the first one. But I go back weekly now, and I find all kinds of stuff, not just records, because if you look around the store, I've had this store here for 20 years now in Dunnville, Ontario, Canada. It's called Capsule, and I love junk. Like, I literally grew up watching Sanford & Son, and all I think about is that room and how much cool stuff they had there. Fred Sanford and his son. But this week I went, and the first thing I saw was a box of records. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I flipped through it really quick, and there, bam, was Yellow Submarine by the Beatles. So I'm like, okay, we're just going to take this whole box. And so I didn't even get to go through it, except for that initial flip that you guys will see. And so we're going to go through that box now, and you're going to see the stuff the first time, just like I am. I grabbed a bunch of other stuff, but I made a separate video of that because it would be like super, super long. And apparently our collective attention span has been sucked down to about half an hour. So I try to make my videos under 20 minutes if I can. So that's in a separate one. If you want to go see it, I got like this old 50s and 60s pop bottle and older antique bottle collection that somebody just dropped off there for free. All the stuff for free. So maybe check out, see if your like local area has that kind of thing. Don't come to mine. Do not pick on my patch, yo. All right, we'll go see the records now. Okay, so this is the box that I rescued from the dump of records. I'm gonna go through. I honestly, other than that flip through at the beginning that I did there before throwing it in the van, I haven't gone through it. I don't know really what's in here. Other than I did see like a Beatles record and you know, so that's okay. I haven't, some of these are going to be the wrong way around. I'll try to flip them around. Yeah, I guess I'll just sort of get right into it. Well, let's see what the first one is here. The Andrews Sisters, Pistol Packin' Mama. It's, you know, somebody will be interested in that. Sonny James, Johnny Tilson. What do we got there? Religious record. There is Yellow Submarine. Keep in mind, these are all free. Dean Martin. That's classic. Thing I love about this is like the Happy Days thing, but you could actually, Fonzie's favorites, so it's all like, you know, early rock and roll, but you can pop this thing out. There you can see the album's actually in pretty nice shape. You can pop this out and then just stand it up, and you've got like, can I do it? Sweet. The Fonz, every time you come into a room, is just staring at you and telling you to sit on it. Which is awesome. B.J. Thomas, Connie Francis. I'm not expecting any home runs here. Wayne Newton, Rex Humbard Wise things. Oh, there you go. Copy of the Easy Rider soundtrack and the original shrink. Look, it was only $4.99 back in the day. Bobby Darin. Some of the best hits from New York. That's... Oh my god. So, Nina's 99 Lift Ballon. This is like the second time in a month that I've got this record in. And the first one I already sold really quickly. And yeah, it's the Canadian pressing. It's a full-length album. This is a weird lot. I'm gonna... Billy Vaughn. A lot of these will probably just end up going to the... donating them to like a local thrift store or something like that. So maybe some other people can pick them up. I do have a free bin. Hi, God. So yeah. I'm not familiar with Johnny Tillotson. So I don't know, man. It's interesting. Al Martino. Is that Country Hall of Fame? Wayne Newton. Some Boxcar Willie. Eddie Arnold. You know, I'm trying to go slower through this because the last time I did the dump record, I got like a whole bunch of country stuff. And admittedly, you know, country isn't my favorite genre of music. I like early bluegrass, early like mountain country music. And with quite a few exceptions, most of the 60s and 70s stuff didn't interest me terribly. But a lot of people were very much slow down. I want to see it. So I'm trying my best here. From the singer, the hit song, The Goofy Newfie. There you go. It's Canadian, Roy Payne. You can see that one there. These are straight up. Look, a Smurfs record. More Connie Francis. Perry Como Christmas. I get that. That'll put aside because everybody's always asking me for Christmas records. Tony Habgen and the New Tones. That. In Heaven There Is No Beer. Sounds terrible. Eddie Peabody. Oh, Manchies. Boots. There you go. Military bands. More religious music. Teresa Brewer. Tom Eldridge. That's another religious. Richard Simmons. Just passed away. Poor Richard. Farron Young. Nell Wood. Now, is that cover artist? Sometimes with a lot of these, the cover models actually usually end up being somebody famous, but that doesn't look like it. Still a pretty girl, though. The We Three Trio on Mainstream. Who are you guys? Any interesting or Tommy Tedesco, so Carol Kay. So this is another one of oh man. Yeah, guitars, Carol Kay. This would have been man, why is my brain not working? The Wrecking Crew. There you go. Yeah, because it was Carol Kay on bass, Tommy Tedesco on guitar. So it was probably done at Gold Star. Interesting. Check that one out. Here's another top pop hits. House of the Rising Sun, Do It. Some of these are actually really great. Like, they're just instrumental, but they're usually pretty interesting. I usually check them out because sometimes you get some crazy fuzz guitar on them that's just awesome. Kingston Trio, Mel Tillis, Dean Martin, Country, Best of the Irish Rovers. I actually had a guy come in and ask for Rovers the other day. Oh, that's pretty cool. Millie Smalls, My Boy Lollipop, early sort of ska reggae. Let's see what the back looks like on that. Oh, somebody signed it, but you know what? That's all right. Still pretty cool. Like I said, free. Dino, Desi, and Billy. It's a great Gibson. I think that's the EB2. I have an EB3 bass, but that's an EB2. Hootenanny with Ian and Sylvia, the Weavers. Windex presents. What the? Well, that's kind of interesting. Early advertising crossover. George Jones. Another Christmas record. Engelbert. Wilf Carter. McLean and McLean. Toilet Rock. Solid. Connie Francis. Billy Bond. What's that? That's on Arc, which was... Arc was a Canadian label. Did a lot of country, but did the occasional like exploitation record. Excuse me. How's that for quality camera work? Lynn Anderson, Jerry Vale, country. I'm hoping there'll be like a few more. Robert Goulet, David Crockett from around the USA, Eddie Arnold, TV record, Tijuana, Carol Baker. John Hartford. Does that name ring a bell? Looks like a fiddle player. That'd be interesting to check out. That aside, because I'm not going to be able to get it back in. Where were we at? I think we were right here. Ned Landry, Ohio Express. That's kind of neat on Buddha. Cover's a little bit trippy. For the Express, you'd figure. There is a... You know what, I'm going to move these because I just keep wanting to tip forward and... Okay, I can't move them. All right. George Jones. He's got an autographed color picture in there for you. Not actually Oak Ridge Boys. So that Goofy Noofy, Roy Payne again. Tommy James. Oh, wow. Okay, for most people, like non-Canadians, this won't be as exciting, but Terry Jacks and the Poppy Family with Susan Jacks, the Poppy Family records are some of my favorite sort of sunshine psychedelic music. Had trouble there. And, but some of the early, like the first two Poppy records are like kind of dark lyrics, and like Terry Jacks did the writing and his wife Susan did some of the singing on there, and it's phenomenal. And you know what? I've never seen this K-Tel collection before. So that's actually amazing. That'll probably end up in my personal collection, which is pretty great. Love it when I can get something for myself. Larry Gatlin, Merle, Robert Maxwell, his harp and orchestra. All right. Your Parade hits of the 50s. Oh, there you go. Best of here. Eric Burden and the Animals. That's another good one. Keep in mind, these are all free. So yeah, complain about that. Now, I haven't gone through all these again for condition-wise. There's a nice Okie from Muskogee. I got asked for that the other day and didn't have it in. Wayne Newton. So, you know, they might be a bit dinged, but I've looked at a few, and they looked all right, so you never know. Oh, there's a nice one. Look at that. Stereo version of Rolling Stones now, which I don't know if I have. I probably do, though. A beat-up copy of the Monkees record, and then Conway Twitty. So there you go. You know what? Out of, you know, probably I'll get 20 records out of here that, you know, I would clean up and put in the store, or just, well, at least one that I'm going to keep for myself. So that's kind of nice. But again, if you have like a local transfer station or a local town dump, check to see if they don't have one of these reuse bins type thing, because I have been finding records there on a pretty regular basis. And they're free because they don't want stuff like this to go into the landfill, because, you know, there's people out there who will totally, you know, want it. And I get people coming in asking all the time for like craft records, meaning records that they can use for crafts or art, stuff like that. So a lot of this stuff will go there. If not, it gets donated and hopefully picked over there, before obviously the thrift store sends it to the landfill. But at least it gets one more go around. And it's not just records. From that, I separated the records out because I know the vinyl guys like stuff, you know, they're not that interested in the other stuff. But I got a collection of old, like 1950s through to the 70s pop bottles and early glass bottles, hundreds of them in there. Like a 1910 or earlier Mason's framed certificate for a Grand Master in the like carved Mason frame with all the Mason symbols on it, which, you know, is great. And plus the little dolls tin shipping why am I having so shipping case, like suitcase, like big, you know, like trunk. There it is, shipping trunk. Wow, man, once you get on the other side of 50, things really start going quickly. But there you have it. You know, no super home runs, although, you know what, for me this kind of is a home run because I've never seen it, and I love the Poppy family. If you're into like psychedelic pop music, there are like, and with some really dark lyrics on, like, I think it's the first album, and there's two different covers for it as well for some reason. And yeah, pick it up or just go listen to it. The Poppy family, because I don't think it's Terry Jacks and the Poppy family on the other ones. I think it's just the Poppy family featuring Susan Jacks. And you know, you can see why. She's a pretty girl. Look at her, man. All right, so I hope you guys are able to find some stuff over the you know, coming week in your digs. And bye.